Hey friends, Bree here, religious trauma coach, and I just wanted to pop in and expand a little bit on the reel that I shared yesterday, the post that I shared yesterday. If you haven't already, head over to my feed and check out the reel from yesterday. There's also a reel there for the live replay from today. But I wanted to just talk a little bit about that because I was talking about how I had not really come to terms with the fact that I had experienced phone call. And eventually, obviously, I understood that there are more kinds of trauma than just being like physically or sexually abused. And I just remember that moment when it kind of like all became super apparent to me, and I was feeling so many emotions and so much heaviness and just like this big, huge realization. And then if we go back to March of 2021, that's when it all really came clear to me, the work that I was meant to do here, the people that I was meant to help. And that has evolved a little bit over the last few years, but I have really become clear on the person that I help and the way in which I help them. And really this all comes back to values and intuition. I was talking to a friend and a former coach earlier today, and for me now, it's really easy for me to recognize that I can tell when things are not in alignment for me because I'm so connected to my values, because I have this connection to my intuition that I can tap into when I'm not sure what is the right way to go. And that is truly how I have been able to follow a spiritual path, be a little woo-woo, even though I have religious trauma. And a lot of times religious trauma and the toxic spirituality space can look very, very similar, and that's scary. So I just want to acknowledge that and just validate that it is scary. It is scary to try and find a new spirituality after being so harmed by religion, another spirituality. And especially when you're someone who has experienced pretty traumatic things within that religion, like I can remember being a young person and being so devastated by this little toddler who died from cancer after, the church had been praying and everybody had been believing that God was going to heal him, and then he wasn't healed, and it was just supposed to be okay, just like God's plan or whatever, right? And that was really traumatizing to me as a young person. So for me personally, the things that were beliefs that were very traumatic for me, I know that those aren't for me anymore. But for a long time, a lot of the toxicity from those beliefs were still showing up in my life, so I was afraid to wish for or hope for or manifest or pray, which was kind of like always walking on eggshells, which reminds me a lot of like toxic relationship vibes, where you're just like afraid that the other shoe is going to drop all the time. You don't think anything good is possibly going to happen, and that's really hard. And then even when you decondition from this old purity culture belief, or you get married and you're allowed, there's a lot of guilt and shame still attached because that conditioning is still there. And then maybe struggling to even use your voice and set boundaries because it was never your place. So I am really here to help you to just say, fuck that noise. We are going to move forward in a different way. We are going to live our lives in a different way. And I really, really, really believe this is the work of reclamation. This is the work I'm here to do. This is why I'm running the 5-day challenge later this month. If you don't know about it, click the link in my bio and sign up.